the association because last night we saw the King take the floor for the first time in what is a record 23rd season in the NBA. LeBron James had 11 points, 12 dimes, 3 boards, and 30 minutes of work, and the Lakers scored 140 points, beating the Jazz by 14. Luka did his...
My biggest challenge this season, I don't know, just stand in the moment. Stand in the moment. Obviously, you know, at where I'm at in my career and where I'm at, you know, year 23, and understanding that, you know, there's not many more games for me. Don't know when that is, but, you know, just stand in the moment, just appreciating the opportunity to go out and play the game I love to play and be around a great group.
I can fit in with anybody. I don't even understand why that was even a question. What's wrong with these people out here? I can fit in right away with anybody.
Oh, I think it's the most pressure he's ever faced in a regular season game in his career. I think their worst record, Nick, was back in 2021. They were 3-4.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed history. Not just basketball history, sports history. LeBron James stepped onto the court last night for his 23rd NBA season. Let that sink in for a second. 23 seasons. Nobody has ever done this. Not Jordan, not Kobe, not Magic, not Bird, nobody. And here's what makes this absolutely insane. This isn't some washed-up veteran limping through garbage time for a farewell tour. This is LeBron James at 40 years old, dropping 11 points and 12 assists in a 140-point Lakers explosion against the Jazz. The Lakers are now 11-4, riding a 4-game win streak, and suddenly looking like they might actually have something special brewing in LA. But let's pump the brakes for just a second, because the story here isn't just about the numbers. It's about what those numbers represent. It's about a man who has literally nothing left to prove, stepping back onto the hardwood with the joy of a kid playing pickup at the YMCA.
He was having fun, he was happy, he played a great floor game.
Here's something people don't talk about enough. LeBron James has spent the majority of his career carrying an impossible weight. The weight of expectations, the weight of comparison to Jordan, the weight of having to be the absolute best player on the floor every single night, or else is considered a failure. But last night, that weight was gone. Nick Wright broke this down perfectly on
40 a game and not be first team All-NBA because he's not going to hit the minimum games threshold, which allows him, Brew, to be as good of a connector, IQ, Swiss Army knife as we have in the league.
Translation? LeBron is free. Free from the pressure of individual accolades. Free from the burden of having to prove he's still the best. And that freedom is making him more dangerous than ever. Look at the approach. 7 shot attempts. 7. That's the fewest shots LeBron has ever taken in a game where he didn't leave with an injury. But here's the kicker. Those 12 assists weren't just empty stats.
12 assists, 5 of those assists was to Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton. Over the last 10 years, you know, he's ranked 5th.
This wasn't LeBron settling for being the third option. This was LeBron orchestrating a symphony. LeBron just looked like he was happy to be out there. It was like Magic Johnson. The joy he played with, smiling all the time. And on top of that, he played a lot like Magic Johnson. 6 assists in 3 minutes and 15 seconds with Luka Doncic on the bench. 6 assists in essentially the blink of an eye. That's not just impressive, that's masterful. That's a player who sees the game at a completely different level than everyone else on the court. LeBron trailing the play as the last man in the pack, still reading the floor 5 steps ahead of everyone else. The paint was packed with 4 defenders. Most players see congestion. LeBron saw DeAndre Ayton running the floor, delivered a perfect scoop pass for the easy bucket, and the celebration that followed told you everything you need to know about his mindset right now. This isn't a guy grinding through a farewell tour. This is a guy genuinely enjoying playing basketball again. Brew raised the point that honestly gave me chills.
He looked great, and everybody was wondering, was he going to go out there and go for 20 or 25 or 30? And then he reminded us that he's the best all-around player this game has ever seen.
Think about that for a second. We always talk about Jordan's killer instinct, Kobe's Mamba mentality, their obsessive love of competition. But who's actually given more to the game? Who's literally spent more time playing at the highest level? LeBron James surpassed Reggie Miller in career three-pointers last night. Reggie Miller, one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. And LeBron, who came into the league with shooting as his biggest weakness, has now passed him. That's not just longevity. That's evolution. That's a player who refused to let his weaknesses define him. Here's what's remarkable. LeBron had more assists than points for just the 7th time in his 23-year career, according to First Things First of 509. 7 times in 23 years. And one of those times was literally his first game back this season after missing the first 14 games. Stephen A. Smith gave us his ceiling for this Lakers team.
Conference Finals. I can't say anything above that because the Oklahoma City Thunder are real.
And you know what? He's probably right. The Thunder are 14-1. They're the reigning defending champions. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is averaging 32 points per game and playing like the best player on the planet right now. But here's the thing about this Lakers team. They have options. They have flexibility. They have a guy in LeBron who can give you 11 and 12 one night or turn around and give you 30 and 8 the next. That's the beauty of everything's extra credit at this point. The Lakers scored a season-high 140 points last night. They put up 74 paint points, 21 more than their season average. With LeBron orchestrating and Luka Doncic scoring 37, this team has legitimate firepower. Austin Reaves is thriving. DeAndre Ayton is finally looking like the #1 pick everyone thought he'd be, going for 20 and 14.
He is picking his spots. He's catching and finishing quick. He's making those little mid-range jumpers that he does, and he's playing hard. And I think it's never been about talent.
Now let's shift gears completely. Because while LeBron is basking in the joy of year 23, Patrick Mahomes is facing something he's never really dealt with. Legitimate regular season pressure. Brew dropped this bomb.
Ever faced in a regular season game in his career. I think their worst record, Nick, was back in 2021. They were 3-4.
The Chiefs are 5-5. 5-5. The Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. 5-5. Let that sink in for a moment. The team that's won multiple Super Bowls, the team with the best quarterback of this generation, is sitting at .500 heading into a matchup with a Colts team averaging 32 points per game.
In the season.
It's different than 5-5.
Yeah, so this is the most pressure he's faced because it's the first time they actually, it's a real threat that they could miss the playoffs.
Correct.
But beyond that,
the Kings spend months dealing with sciatica, an injury that makes you question every step, every movement, every moment when you get out of bed. He missed opening night for the first time in 23 years. He had to swallow his pride and practice with the G League team just to get game ready. But he never stopped watching. He never stopped studying. He never stopped preparing for this moment. And now he's ready to show the world that at 40 years old, after missing the start of the season for the first time ever, LeBron James is still LeBron James. The comeback is here. Let's see what happens next.